We have Waddle, which is a game about wildlife research and conservation. And in this game, each player is going to be playing as a scientist with their own specialist of a certain breed of penguin. And then you're going to be gaining some special actions or abilities whenever you take actions related to that penguin. And something that's really cool about the different pictures here is that the designers do actually work in wildlife conservation. And these pictures were taken by them and their team when they went on an expedition to the South Pole. But the way the game actually plays is that players are going to be taking turns performing just one action on their turn, and one of the main actions is to draft a card into your hand. The way this works is that the different cards come in different colors depending on the type of penguin on that card, and then each of the types of penguins can come in a value ranging from 1 to 6. Players are going to be drafting these cards to try and create different sets of penguin, with the larger sets giving you more victory points. You can create sets by having penguin of the same value, or of the same color, or even creating runs of sequential numbers. It does also cost an action in order to cash in a set of penguin for the victory points, so you do want to be efficient when you do this. But a really cool mechanism here is that when you do that, you'll be assigning a location to score those victory points. And you're going to be gaining additional victory points for every pair of penguin of the same type that also match one of the penguin on that location. There is sort of a limit to the number of times each location can actually be used, so players are going to be racing to try and use these locations first. Or if you think one of the locations is getting more difficult to gain access to because it's been used too many times, you might try to get penguin into your set that will allow you to score points at one of the other locations. One thing to note about cashing in your sets for victory points is that you can actually optimize this by cashing in 2 sets at once, but in order to do that, you have to use up all the cards in your hand. And if you're not able to get that absolutely perfect and you end up having an extra card in your hand, then you're only going to be able to cash in a single set. And anytime that you do that, you actually have to discard all the other cards in your hand back to the drafting pool, which means that there is a little bit of a push your luck aspect here when you are trying to optimize for multiple sets. Luckily, there are actions you can use to mitigate this, to return cards from your hand back to the pool, or even swap cards from your hand with the pool. But of course, this is less efficient than just trying to get everything right the first time. And the game continues like this, with players drafting cards into their hand, trying to create different sets, and then cashing those sets in for victory points. And of course, anytime that you're drafting cards, you're going to be replenishing them from the main deck. And this is important because each round in this game is going to have 4 threat cards shuffled into that deck, and anytime that a player draws one of those cards, they'll be able to use it for its powerful special ability. Once all 4 of those have been drawn, that's going to be triggering the end of that round, and then you're going to be going into scoring and then resetting up the next round and then continuing until the end of the game. Then the player with the most victory points at that point wins the game. If you are interested in this one, you can check it out. I'll have it linked in the description down below.